Hey everyone, and welcome to the video. I'm Happy Harris, and today we're going to be looking at AFL Round 8 tips. These are the ones that I think are going to win this weekend. So let's jump straight into it, eh? First up, we've got Adelaide Crows versus Port Adelaide. Now, there's a couple of injuries for Port Adelaide and a couple of changes for the Adelaide Crows. Adelaide have had Port Adelaide's number in the past, so I'm going to make this short and sweet and just say that Adelaide have got this. The reason for that is because their captain's not playing well, and Alir is out. He's injured. So he's one of their best defenders, and without him I just don't think they can stop. I think Adelaide Crows will get their mojo here, and they'll punish Port. But it's a derby, you can never tell what's going to happen in a derby. We saw that with West Coast and Fremantle. It's unpredictable, but I reckon a safe bet would be Crows. So let's move on to the Friday game. This is the big one. Obviously, like I said in the past, I'm a Collingwood supporter, so it's really hard for me to tip against Collingwood. But I have to be honest, and my honesty is telling me that Carlton are vulnerable. I mean, they're doing everything right, but they are vulnerable. They are missing a lot of run off their back half. Collingwood can exploit that. So, but then again, Carlton are winning it out of the middle again, which earlier in the year they weren't doing. And their turnover game has actually started to really kick into gear. So whether or not that affects Collingwood, they make mistakes, which they were in the first 3 weeks, but in the last 4 weeks, they haven't been making as many mistakes. In fact, they've actually been rated very highly, and that's including the first 3 rounds where they made terrible mistakes, which leads me to believe that Collingwood's a good chance to win this game, even though Carlton will win the stoppage. If Collingwood's running game gets on track, win the ball after you've lost the ball, turnover obviously, then yeah, Collingwood should be able to win. And anyway, it's going to be a cracking game. I'll be watching it, definitely. As you can see, the bet's against it, so Collingwood tip here would be pretty good. So I'm going to tip Collingwood, obviously, but only because Carlton's run, the fact that they win the stoppage and then they can't win the next contest, if you know what I mean. Collingwood will win the next contest and hopefully be able to punish Carlton on the rebound. And Carlton they were doing that a couple of weeks ago, but they're not anymore. So they've gone back to their stoppage game. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've got tipping Collingwood there. Alright then. So on Saturday, this is at 1:45. We've got the Sydney Swans versus this is the Derby. So this weekend's all about rivalries, if you haven't already guessed. And yeah, Sydney Swans versus Giants is always a good one. The Giants have always had it over Sydney. I don't know why. They just have their number. Green will come back. They got a lot of their team is really good. The Giants are really strong here. But then again, you got Heaney. Heaney's playing. He's going to win the Brownlow if he keeps playing the way he's playing. And there are so many other midfielders in that Sydney team. I can't remember their names right now. I don't usually watch Sydney games because they're just always on at the wrong time as a game that I want to watch, you know. But this will be a cracker. I mean, yeah, Sydney's midfield probably. Their midfields. I'd say the Giants have a stronger midfield, but Sydney's got a good midfield. I wouldn't say that. I'm not saying that. But yeah, I have to tip the Giants here. It's just I think Sydney will do really well, but I think this will be a learning game for Sydney. Whereas it'll help them later in the year. Whereas the Giants, I think they're too strong, too good. Their forwards are on fire. Their back line's on fire. Their midfield is better than Sydney's. Yeah, this would probably be a Giants win. So, yeah. So going to the second Saturday game, we got St Kilda versus North Melbourne. Now, I honestly think that, I said this last week, North Melbourne's not worth talking about. But St Kilda, on the other hand, they have dropped off. And I mean to the point where that $6 is not how I'd see this game. Listen, a safe bet would be St Kilda. But I'm tipping North. I reckon they'll win. I know that's a weird call. Like, what's that? You know, you're never going to get that. But I don't know, man. It's a strange bet for a good reason, but I think North will win this. St Kilda's, they've got a lot of their older players are injured, and a lot of their guns aren't playing. Higgins isn't playing. Max King is having a fucking, he's gone quiet, he's gone missing. I think he did alright last week, but he was not good enough, and the week before he was terrible. So this midfield's just not getting it done at the moment. They'll pounce here. This is their opportunity to get a win, and they'll see that. It'll be grilled into them. So I reckon they'll win this game. Here's a big one. I know I said that already, but this is a big one. Are Melbourne the real deal, or are the Cats the real deal? I'd probably say the Cats. They're without their captain, but that doesn't really matter. Some of these Geelong players are just stars. I mean, they're worth more than they're getting paid. They're probably taking pay cuts to actually play for the Cats. I wouldn't be surprised. Whereas Melbourne, they've got a couple of young demons running around. They're doing well, but I don't think they're doing well enough to beat Geelong's system at the moment. They've just got it all figured out, so I think Geelong have got this one. I think it'll be a comfortable win. Melbourne, I'm not sure if they can handle the Cats. They can't really punish with their damage up forward, whereas the Cats can. I mean, they have so many people that can kick goals that it's not funny. Half their team are goal kickers, which is what makes them so strong and has made them strong in the past. Last year was a little bit of a curveball, but they got back to their form, and I think the Cats will win here. Okay, I think this is the last game on Saturday. So West Coast Eagles versus Essendon. West Coast are doing well. They're gallant. They've finally found some form, but it's one of those things. Essendon at Optus Stadium, so it's an away game for them. After last week, they'll be fired up, so I think they'll respond and they'll get the win here. West Coast Eagles players like Elliott, Yo, and Josh Kelly, they're doing really well at the moment, and their forwards are kicking goals, and there's a new one that just popped up recently. He's kicking a lot of goals, and he's an unlikely answer for them. They didn't think he was going to be kicking so many goals, but he is. But still, this will be a close game. I think Essendon will just creep away. And Harley Reid will come back for West Coast. So, that's not worth it to tip again. If that was $4.50, I'd say maybe put a little bit of money on West Coast, but it's not. The safe bet here is Essendon. They'll probably win, so add that into your multi if you want. Okay, so now we're moving on to Sunday, and we got Richmond versus Fremantle. Richmond are terrible at the moment, and Fremantle have got a lot of their run back, but they're unpredictable. And I guess Richmond are too. MCG, big crowd. Fremantle, I'm going to have to say Fremantle here. With Frederick coming back into the side, they're a much different team. They move the football with flair. They're not boring. Richmond, on the other hand, yeah, there just doesn't look like there's any answers. They lost another gun midfielder. I don't see any answers for them at the moment. They won't. I don't think they'll be able to handle Fremantle if they get their game going, and I'm pretty sure they will. So Fremantle's probably going to win this. We got the Western Bulldogs versus Hawthorn. I think this is the last game of the round. And listen, this is going to be a closer game than the betting here suggests. The Bulldogs, they're not playing well, you know. Hawthorn, they're not playing well either, but they're fighting. You know, they're learning and they're kicking goals and they're trying. But some teams just get a hold of them and just flog them. You know, like they're just one of those sides that they'll trouble some, but they won't trouble everyone or most. So I don't know. I think the Bulldogs will win this. I mean, I think they'll get a hold of them, and it'll just be an easy win in the end. But because Hawthorn, they try to tackle and work through that pressure, and I think the Bulldogs will work through that pressure and win the ball and get forward. And they got stars that kick goals, and Hawthorn don't really have a great defence. I mean, Sicily is their captain; he's down there, but I don't know what his like. Yeah, he's a good leader, but is he a good player? Like, I don't see much of his skill. I saw it last year against Collingwood, and I was like, okay, all right, so he is a good player. But then I've never seen it since. Like, does he even? Like, I don't understand Hawthorn's defence structure. Like, is he being let down by the team or himself? I just don't understand it. So I think the Bulldogs will win here. There's one more game. Brisbane Lions versus Gold Coast Suns. Like I said, it's Derby weekend, so this is the Queen Q Clash, as they like to call it. And the Suns are playing better than the Lions. That's for damn sure. The problem here is the Suns haven't won away from home this year. They've won every game at home, lost every game away. So but they enjoy playing at the Gabba. And the Lions are vulnerable. They're hard to watch. So I'm gonna tip. Yeah, I'm going against Brisbane. Yeah, I'm going Gold Coast here. I think they'll win this game. And it'll be a tight one. I reckon this will be a close game. Brisbane, they'll get their engine going because it's Q Clash. You know, well, we hate those guys. But you know, like, at the end of the day, I just don't think, you know, you can be as abusive as you want, but if you play footy, eventually the scoreboard will tell the difference. You know, like, that's just how it is. You play better footy, you win. So I think Gold Coast will win this game, even though they're tipped. Yeah, that's, like I said, because they haven't won a game away from home. But this is hardly a game away from home. They play here a lot at the Gabba, so yeah, they'll be right. Gold Coast will win this game. And that brings us to the conclusion. Yeah, thanks for watching, and good luck. And as always, be good to your mother. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content. I do gaming content as well, so if you want to see that, check it out. But I'll do these AFL tipping videos every week until the end of the season, obviously. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.